Hey everyone, my name is Jay Martin, and this is the second video in my series of playing the flank position in a big group game, either a 3v3 or a 4v4. And in this game, I want to talk about, or the second video, what I want to talk about is the good tactics, or kind of good basic tactics that you want to use when you're playing in the flank position. And the game that we're watching is a clan match, Huntsman versus MH, and Huntsman is on the near side. And playing as GB is, again, Ratu, who I also featured in the last video, and he's brought the same exact build that he used to beat me. In the last video that I featured, and that video is 5 light infantry. What I like about this game, and it's a little laggy, sorry about that. I think I'm doing something in the background on my computer right now, but this game I like because his opponent has brought a fairly symmetrical build to him. His opponent has 5 light infantry. The one downside is his opponent has a rifle unit or a 125 unit. But other than that, their builds are fairly symmetrical. They both have 4 cav and then are filled out the rest with the line infantry. And I'm going to fast forward to get to the parts that I want to talk about. One thing that I failed to mention in the previous video that I should have is that the dominant sort of strategic concept in these games, when everyone's playing really tight, is to attack on the flank, the far ends of the map, either way. And the reason for that is it's the only way to get a flank on anybody. Even if you push somebody in the middle, then you wind up advancing too far and you get your own people flanked and everything. And so you want to attack on the flank. That's where the most advantage is to be gained. And then the other issue is that it's really important when you play these games to stay in line with each other. Now, the 3 players want to stay pretty much in line. Now these people accomplish that just by not fucking moving, which is one way to go about it. But I mean, if you're a little more of a gamer and you're more of an attacker like we are, I mean, just don't fucking sit there, okay? It's like lame. But it's very important to try to keep your armies in line so that nobody can get fire on their flank, etc. Support each other, and that also helps because it kind of keeps everyone's cav in the same area, and you'll find yourself, if you're playing good, you'll commit your cav to your buddy's side, or your buddy will commit cav to your side, etc. Actually, one kind of weird strategy, a maximum of this game is that you want to focus fire on a particular point. And one way to do that is to focus cav, and so there's another player named BuzzFuzz who has this really cool tactic he does where he plays in the middle and like sends 6 cav units to one side and just crushes a flank, and it's actually really effective. You'd be surprised. I'm not going to go into that particular tactic in this video series, but there are some interesting things you can do. You want to keep your armies together and keep in line. A thing I want to point out on this map, this is Grassy Flatlands, and this map isn't exactly flat. You see this ridge here? There is a ridge on this map, and it's kind of right in the middle of no man's land, really. This ridge is going to wind up being important in this battle. It winds up becoming important in a lot of battles. So I just want to say, I'm going to talk about that ridge again in a minute. But just be aware that it's worth taking your time on any map you play to kind of zoom down and check out the peculiarities of the map and the little ridges. A map like Pyramids especially has all those little dunes and everything, where that's important. Rat's opponent, has gone symmetrical with him and has moved his lights to the far side as well. And so the 2 of them are about to start their skirmish, and that's where I really want to talk. So I'm going to hit fast forward and try to get there. So I'm in fast forward now. If something isn't working correctly, apologies, technical difficulties, etc. And I'm just trying to get to a point where they actually engage. Here we go. They're starting to move up. Yeah, so maybe another concept that I didn't get into in the I won't get into in the other videos is helping each other. Helping your teammates. This is a team game, and you win as a team and you lose as a team, and it doesn't matter if you crush your opponent, but the other two players lose. The objective is to make sure that your entire team wins. That's kind of the only thing that really matters in the end. Okay, so both parties are moving forward, and I think we're actually going to get some skirmishing going on. Come on, guys. Get in there. Come on. Let's do it. So an interesting thing is going to happen, and this is what I've sort of wanted to talk about, or what I've been waiting for these fuckers to get their shit together on. This is turning into being a shit-tastic replay because I can't fucking get them to do anything. The thing I want to talk about is the fact that this guy has brought a rifle unit. And I mentioned before how the light infantry skirmish advantage is really, really important. Light infantry are really, really important in this particular scenario. And by bringing a rifle unit, I think his theory was if he has a range advantage, he'll force the opponent to move in, and that'll give him the first shot. Now, getting the first shot is nice, but it's not the end-all and be-all. The cost of having that first shot is that you have a fairly useless rifle unit. These units are not good. In fact, they're pretty shitty. What's going to happen is that Rat's going to move forward anyway. And here we go, guys. Come on, we can do it. Come on, we can do it. Rat's going to move forward anyway. And this rifle unit is going to wind up retreating a little bit, or falling back a little bit, because it's just longer range so that it can afford to. And I think this guy moves up anyway, man. Okay, move over. And, oh, that was a good point there. See, when that guy was moving, he was unable to shoot. Rat took that advantage to move up, so Rat might both move. Okay, the other guy gets the first shot. That's fine. The other guy gets the first shot. But what's going to happen is that rifle unit retreats, which means that two of Rat's units are going to be shooting at one. That's a big deal. Okay? He focused fire on one unit. The reason that's a big deal is that a unit that routes with 30 men left in it just cost you 30 men. Those 30 men are no longer participating in the battle. I would rather have two units, both with 15 men that are still on the field, versus one unit of 30 men that's off the field. I don't know if that makes sense, but whenever you can focus fire with two units onto one, that's important, and that's a big deal, and you need to try to do that. You need to try to prevent that from happening. It's better to sort of spread your casualties around. Now, there might be an exception to that if you're talking about saving an old guard, a very high quality unit, but not in this case. The second issue I wanted to talk about was terrain, and you see the ridge here? The three nearest units, let me zoom out, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, are dealing with this ridge. Now the ridge kind of flattens out over there, so it's not as pronounced, but nearest to the red line, these three units are dealing with this ridge, and Rat's units are actually shooting into the dirt, and this guy's units are shooting over Rat's head. These three units, there they go, right into the dirt. These three units are mostly just missing each other. And if you're Rat and you have two units firing against one, that's actually a pretty good deal, positionally. It's okay. I would take these three units at a wash. Now I might turn off fire at will, so I'm not wasting so many bullets. And the odd bullet is getting through, but by and large, these units have fired for 3 or 4 volleys at each other, and 85, 89, and 90. Not a whole lot of damage is getting done. These two units are still pretty much completely healthy. And meanwhile, Rat has the advantage that his 2 light units are hitting this one Fusilier there. This rifle unit isn't really participating that much. Their reload time is incredibly slow, so it's not that big a deal. Something interesting does happen. The Prussian guy moves line up. He sort of had to do that because Rat was threatening to flank over there. So this line moves up, and you can see that Rat is moving Cav over to that area of the line. This guy here is really weak. He doesn't have anything backing him up. So this is maybe not the fight that I would pick if I was him. This guy is going to do something of the third note that I have about good cav use. What I want you to notice is that Rat runs his army over horizontally and then sets up for a vertical charge. That's the way you want to do it. His units are coming into these two units here. And again, the maximum, get your cav in first. Really helps because these units are going to have to go into square, which will give Rat a fire advantage. He'll cut down those musketeers pretty good. Now this guy does something that I don't recommend here. See these cav that he has? He's going to start to run them diagonally across this line to try to charge over here. I really don't recommend this. Big diagonal charges like this don't work because they give your opponent a ton of opportunity to see them. I mean, you can see this coming a mile away. I mean, no matter where Rat's camera is, he can see this unit coming diagonally, and it's going to try to go for some infantry over here, but you know, it's been there a mile away. And then he does his second faux pas, which I don't really recommend, is he's just charging those cav into Rat's cav, which is not solving the fucking problem. I mean, the problem is the cav is disorganizing your line, forcing them to form square. You're not solving anything. He finally actually gets the cav to move through to the line, but the damage has largely already been done, and these units are going to get their hits in, but they're not going to be nearly as effective as the carnage caused earlier. The reason that is that when Rat's unit was completely healthy, like at 100 and the other guy formed square, he gets a really good volley of all 100 men into that square. And that unit is depleted now. They're down to 60 and Rat's unit is still at 80, right? If this shootout continues, Rat's going to win. That's why getting your cav into making the other guy form square first is really valuable. The next concept I want to talk about is spacing between your line and your lights. And right here you notice that these are Rat's two infantry units he has positioned as protection from his line. And they haven't fired a single shot in the battle, they haven't done anything. But this unit is already down to 80 and that unit is down to 75. The reason for that is that they're taking overflow bullets from the Prussian lights that pass through his lights. And then, yep, there you go, there's some more casualties. So when you want to put your line behind your lights, you need to be sure to keep them back far enough so that they don't take the overflow or the pass-through bullets or the unintentional fire bullets. And the ideal way to position these, and it's hard without showing the firing arc, but you want to have them just back far enough that their firing arc is right in front of the light unit that they're protecting. That's how you want to do it, because that way they can shoot at cav that charge your lights. That's the whole reason these guys are there. And in my opinion, these guys are positioned a little too far behind. And it's the same thing on this guy's side. Like, that unit's down to 70, and this unit's down to 85, and they haven't done jack shit. They haven't done jack shit, really. Yeah. And this movement, the fifth thing I want to talk about is also positioning lights in line. This guy moves a musketeer unit in front of his lights. This is a really bad idea because his lights are shooting his own troops in the back. And you're going to see this in a moment. These people are going to fire. Yep, that's it. They fired a volley right into their back, which routed their own musketeer unit. So you can't put your line in front of your lights because they shoot them in the back. And this guy really just gave Rat a free unit, is what he did. The next concept I want to mention is that whenever possible, you want to try to save a cav unit. You want to be the last person on the map with cav. And a cav unit would come in really handy here because these lights don't have any line of tree behind them. So in this particular context, a cav charge here would be really, really successful because these line of tree obviously can't form square. It's kind of irrelevant in this particular game. Rat has been slowly but surely grinding out this guy's line units over here, and he's moving on, and he's also, I think, about to get the advantage on the light-on-light fight, and again, he's the only one with line of tree left. So anyway, that's the second video on my series on the flank position. Please continue to watch the third.